Hello everyone, it's Nguyen from ST Consulting and I'm back. So today I'm back and talk about to continue the topic of the 3 videos. The first one was about the risks and challenges. The second one is about the solutions that I posted before. So today I'm going to share with you the details of the 3 additional big cases. I will go into detail analysis what happened to the case since the time the big shareholder bought the companies. Okay, so the 3 cases that I'm going to share are: first is the Thaibev bought Sabeco, the second one is the HCG bought Binh Minh Plastics, and the third one is the Central Group bought Nguyen Kim. Okay, before I'm going to each of these cases, I just want to share that I am not involved in any work with these companies. I don't invest in these companies at the moment, and I don't have any position or advisory work with these companies. Okay, so all of the analysis and the views that I share from this video is very much from the outsider point of view and from the observation that I have into these companies from the angle of the post M&A integration. So the first case is about the Thaibev acquired Sabeco in the end of 2017. When the deal closed, we saw many positive headlines and analysis from many big medias around the world. Okay, the first one, Navigator Asia, it was saying the acquisition will help Thaibev to have immediate access to extensive local distribution networks and will give its exposure to Vietnam's $6.5 billion growing beer market with young population. The second article was from Bloomberg. The deal is in the line with Thaibev's Vision 2020 of being the regional player and increase the revenue contribution from outside Thailand to more than 50% by the end of 2020. The third article was from Nikkei Asian Review. Sabeco will aim to grow its share of the whole market from around 40% to 50% on the strength of the Thaibev's retail network and expand its regional international markets. So let's dive in and look at the details of the case after the M&A deals closed. What happened to the situation? Have they gained all these benefits yet or not? First, look at the market share from Sabeco since the time Thaibev bought. At the time Thaibev bought Sabeco, the total market share of Sabeco was around 40%. So you can see from this chart, in 2019, the market share for Sabeco was around 40%. And second to it was Heineken was around 33%. And what happened throughout the 3 years? Look at 2021 result. We saw the opposite position from Sabeco and Heineken. Sabeco went to only 33% in the end of 2021, compared to Heineken went straight to almost 45% of market share. You can see from this chart how is the market share of the Heineken and Sabeco has been changing over the last 5 years since the time Thaibev bought Sabeco. The swap position between the two. What has Thaibev done well in this case? We can see from the cost chart here. They have done well in terms of restructuring the operation. They have improved the operation, have to reduce the operation costs proportion to the total of the company sales over the last 5 years. However, with the severe competition of the beer market, the sales and administration costs also increase a lot in terms of total sales. So here is the financial statement results for the last 5 years since the time Thaibev acquired Sabeco. Okay, the total revenue after 5 years increased only around 10%, and also same as profit. Net profit increased around only 10%. What they have concentration is that they try to increase their market presence in the north of Vietnam. From the recent annual shareholder meeting, the CEO stated that their sales in international markets is a small proportion. Okay, so they have not paid a lot of attention to increase the presence of Sabeco into the international market. So what are the reasons behind all of this that caused results of the last 5 years for Sabeco not optimal the synergies that all the medias were talking about? In my opinion, because of two main reasons. First is they didn't have a well-prepared plan for the post-M&A integration. Okay, this shows the evidence like in this case like this. After Thaibev bought Sabeco, they bought through the auction, and they bought the share from the state-owned 49%, and the rest they bought in the market. And you know, this one was the biggest, and it's still the biggest M&A deals in the history of Vietnam until today. And even after the M&A, they couldn't get into the board of management or board of director, because in Vietnam, after you have around 10% of a share of the company, you can have the shareholder voting to get into the board of management and also board of director. And the vote need to be at least 2/3 of the total shareholders. Okay. However, in this case, the Thaibev need to get the approval because of the shareholders, and the biggest shareholders beside Thaibev is the government entity. It's the Ministry of Industry and Trade. They own 36%. So in order to get into the BOD and BOM seats, they need to get approval from this body, and it takes a long time for in Vietnam market. It takes a long time to get approval from the government entity. So until 1 year later, that Thaibev and could be able to get into the management and board of directors. So the second reason is that it's also maybe related by the first reason. The Thaibev was so impatient. Okay, after they got into the board of director and board of management team, they kicked out the old management team. They replaced it with their own people from foreign markets to allocate to Vietnam market. I'm not saying these leaders in the management team and BOD member are not good. They of course have a lot of experience and they are very good. However, they are not local Vietnam people. They don't know too much about the local Vietnam markets. So because of that, it will take time for them to learn about the market, to get to know the local market and the all the customs of local market. Because of that, during the time they all these leaders learn the market, then their competitor like Nguyen already cross over the. If you watch my previous video, I mentioned about the solution part, about the keep the previous management team in the transitional position, and if they are good, use them for a long term, like the case with Mexico. So the deal that Thaibev bought Sabeco at around $5 billion to buy 4% of the company. Until now, it's the biggest deal in Vietnamese history of M&A transactions. So the second case that I want to share with you is the case that Central Group from Thailand acquired and bought 100% of Nguyen Kim, the electronic retail system group. Before they acquired 100% in 2019, they bought 49% 5 years before that. And the target after acquiring the full 100% of the company, and also we target to acquire on board the Nguyen Kim Group, is to want to control the retail system in Vietnam market. They bought the remaining 51% at the price around $115 million. So after they acquired the full company, let's look at what happened to Nguyen Kim, okay? Before the Central Group acquired Nguyen Kim was number one player in the Vietnam market in terms of the electronic retail trend. And they got around 12 to 13% of the market share during 2015. Okay. So in 2015, the total market share was around 12 to 15% of the whole market. And the second biggest competitor to this company was only 8%, is Binh Minh Plastics at that time. And what happened after just 5 years, okay? Just 5 years after that, 2019, Binh Minh Plastics went from 8% of the market share to over 30% of market share. And what happened to Nguyen Kim? Nguyen Kim's market share dropped to around 6%. And it didn't just lose the market share in terms of relative percentage of market share, but it also lost the total amount in absolute amount. You look at the numbers they have here. The sales decreased year over year. So let's look at what Central Group did well and what Central Group faced the problem with. Okay. First, I think Central Group did a well strategy that get into the company with a not controlling percentage, less than 50%, for a few years to get to know the business, to get to know the company, to get to know the culture, and to smoothly transfer the power, transfer the ownership, transfer the management team. What they face the problem, because Nguyen Kim only paid attention to traditional stores, offline store. They didn't pay attention to IT, the online, internet selling stores and system. So they lost out to the competitors, especially the biggest competitor, Binh Minh Plastics, and even also other smaller competitors, a lot smaller competitors compared to them at that time. Even though later on they also wanted to try to dig into the internet's online sales, but it was too late. They cooperate with FPT to help them with the online stores and online sales, but the visiting stores for them is like allow less than 3 million visits each month compared to like over 10 millions each month on average of the whole other stores. Okay, so because of that, the company lost its competitive edge, lost its market share, lost its absolute sales in the store and as the absolute number. You know, like 20 years ago when I visited Nguyen Kim, it was like a hot center. Whenever I visited it, it was like you jam with people. You cannot walk. The person in front of you is always like jam into each other and you could not walk in the store. Recently, when I passed the Nguyen Kim, the stores have very, very few people even during the weekend. So you see how the IT system, and if you don't pay attention to the IT, you face so much trouble in your competitive edge. So this is also the fourth challenging area that I discussed in my first video of this series video. If you haven't looked at it, please come to look at it. Okay. So the next case is SGG bought Binh Minh Plastics. Okay. They also bought the company, 20% of the company prior to the time they acquired the majority of the company to own up to 54%. That is also the good decision, right? So what we see in this case, after they acquired the Binh Minh Plastics, Binh Minh Plastics is one of the two biggest plastic pile companies in Vietnam market. Okay, they are controlling southern of Vietnam market, and the other biggest competitor is Tiên Phong Plastic. Is they both listed on wholesale stock exchange, and Tiên Phong Plastics controlling the northern of Vietnam market. After they acquired Binh Minh Plastics, what happened to the company? Okay, we look at the market share. The Binh Minh Plastics has around 28% of market share, and Tiên Phong Plastic has a little bit higher percent market share compared to Binh Minh Plastics. And what happened before that? Before 2018, if you see here, Binh Minh Plastics got a little bit higher market share versus Tiên Phong Plastic. Their strategy is that to go northern Vietnam, okay, to get to the northern Vietnam and get competitive edge, and also get to control the SGG. When they acquire Binh Minh Plastics, their purpose was to control the plastic market of Vietnam, a full supply chain, both the input materials as well as the manufacturing. Binh Minh Plastics and also Tiên Phong Plastic both has a strategy to go nationwide as a position, right? So Tiên Phong Plastic over the last 10 years was very aggressively go southern to the south of Vietnam to get more market share. Versus Binh Minh Plastics also try to go to the north, but their going to the north is not successful for few reasons. One of the reasons is that I think they didn't put enough energy and strategic planning to acquire the northern of Vietnam. Okay, so the excuse is that the northern people, when they are already accustomed to some products already, they are difficult to change. Maybe that is one of the part of the reasons. But if you have a right strategy, then I don't think that is the right reason. Okay, so it's difficult for them. That's why their market share stays very much the same over the past 5 years or so, while market share from Tiền Phong Plastic kept increasing. And also, if you look at the financial performance, years ago, Binh Minh Plastics performed very well compared to Tiền Phong Plastic. But over time, you see Tiền Phong gradually get better and better and very stable going forward. While Binh Minh Plastics fluctuated, unstable in terms of their gross profits over here. What we see from this case, in my opinion, okay, SG also had a good strategy acquire minority stake first in Binh Minh Plastics to get to know the company well, to know its performance, to know its strategy, to know its competitive edge before acquiring the majority of the company. However, for me, in this case, compared to Thaibev bought Sabeco, it's very much a total opposite case. Okay, Thaibev bought Sabeco and came in too impatient, made the situation get worse because they replaced the whole team and then restructuring the firm in the way that to disruption that lost the market share to its competitor. In this case, the opposite. They bought the company but did not do much. Just sent someone sit in the board of directors for a very long time and did nothing, just like financial investor. Okay, so there's no synergy gain from the deal. No, it's more like financial investor in the deal. Okay, but they bought the companies at the valuation of the industry player, not a financial investor. So it's premium to the market and premium to financial investor. But until recent years, they start to put someone, additional people in the board of management, and as not just only one person in the board of director. The last 1 or 2 years, their performance getting a little bit better compared to the previous year. These are the 3 additional cases, in addition to the other 7 cases that I already shared in my previous 2 videos. So if you like the video, please click the like button so that I know that more people like this type of analysis and sharing stories and also sharing cases analysis. I will do more in the future. And if you have not watched the other videos on this series, please also watch them to follow the full stories, full series that I share with you. And also please subscribe to my channel to follow me for the next video I will share in the next week or so. Have a good day. Bye bye.